All right. Well, welcome everyone to today's financial workshop put on by the Family Network here at Crenshaw Christian Center. My name is Arabian Morgan. I am a certified public accountant or CPA, and I always like to put people at ease when we first get started just by saying that in this particular financial workshop, I have nothing to sell you, so there's not some sales pitch coming at the end, okay? I don't sell life insurance. I don't want to do your taxes. I don't want to do, I really just don't have anything to sell you. I don't have any investments for you. And so there's no big sales pitch coming at the end. So you should feel comfortable just knowing I'm here to share with you some information that I believe will enhance your life. So today's topic is called Money Answers Everything. Money Answers Everything. And I got that topic from the Bible, Ecclesiastes 10:19, just kind of lifted it out of there. And I wanted to explore that topic a little bit today with you. Now, there's always a time for the spiritual, but I believe there's a time for the practical. And so today I really want to share some practical information with you, something that you can adopt into your lifestyle and move forward with. You can take the spiritual and move it right into the natural and use some of the things that I'll share with you today. So what do I want to talk about today with Money Answers Everything? When I came up with this topic, I was just realizing what was going on in my own financial life, and this was probably in November of last year. Just some things were going on in my own financial life, and I said, you know, I really just want to do a topic. I want to call it Money Answers Everything because that's the only way I'm getting things done right now is with some money. And if I didn't have this money, boy, I'd be stuck. So I thought of 3 specific areas that I want to address. And at the same time, I want to answer any of your financial questions. So I want you to feel comfortable asking me those questions as well. So when the Bible talks about money answers everything, it was, you know, listing out a few things that'll make you happy and sad or whatever, but it'll say, but money answers everything. I say, okay, that's true. All right. So I just want to think about all the things that I was experiencing last year, and would money answer all of those things? So anyway, I've pulled up 3 different areas. And the first one, I was toying around with it because I'm not sure if it's just me or not. But I found that money answers faith. Money answers my faith, at least. And I saw money answering other people's faiths at the end of last year. Let me give you the scenario. Someone I knew wasn't feeling well, and they were in a nursing home and whatnot. And, you know, church rallied around them, say, hey, you know, we're in agreement with you for your full recovery, your healing, and stuff like this and that. And I was too. The only thing was, the person in the nursing home, or the care facility rather, he was running out of money. And he, you know, and so he started reaching out to people for some money to help pay the bills in the care facility. And what I noticed was, and I'll say this, I've seen this happen twice, okay? So I'm not saying this is the rule or anything like, I've seen it happen twice, and this was the second time, which made me think of it. But everybody's believing with this person to get better, and I said, well, that's wonderful, you know? But then the more he called on people he knew to help him take care of that nursing home bill, the more people would not answer the phone when he called. Now, that's not where I wanted your reaction. As it pertains to people's faith, at least the faith that comes out of their mouth, I saw what appeared to be, and I'm not excluding myself. I am not excluding myself from this. I saw what appeared to be people were ready for him to check out. Their faith about him getting better and all this and that sounds great. But what the appearance was they were ready for him to check out so that he was no longer a financial burden. Now, I don't know if that was just me feeling that way. I don't have anyone that told me that specifically, but I personally felt that way. And, you know, in the beginning, I'm in 100% agreement with you for your healing, full recovery. Okay. After so much time had passed, and I'll be right up front about it, I personally did not have the finances to support this person anymore. And my faith changed. I was looking for this person to check out comfortably. I didn't pray about it. I'm just telling you where I was. There's a story in the Bible how this guy's walking along the road and sees a guy beat up, torn up. This is the story of the Good Samaritan. And so he takes him to the hotel, he puts him up in the hotel, tells the hotel person, hey, here's some money, take care of him, whatever he needs. If this doesn't cover it all, I'll take care of it when I come back. And I said, that sounds wonderful. And all you need is money to do that. You don't have to be a Christian. You just have to be a nice person with some money. So I'm just saying when it came to, the person I'm thinking of right now, yeah, it was just a matter of money. The more money I had, the more money this person had, really, the more people could be in agreement with him and have their faith right along with his. I'm just telling you, my faith wasn't there. My faith wasn't there. As my finances could no longer take care of the person, and I did not have an obligation to take care of the person. I did not. But I'm just saying that people started withdrawing from the person. And I, too, withdrew from the person. I came back, though, but I'm just saying I had to check myself. But it was all because of money. Had nothing else to do with it. So I don't know if it's just me, but I'm just saying money answers people's faith. It'll help your faith hang in there no matter how long it takes. It helps you not waver when you're believing for something. And I'm applying it to an extreme case in many instances, but even with small things that you're believing for. If you're believing God for a home, well, when you start to see money show up, you get encouraged. Your faith gets strengthened. No matter where it comes from. It could be one person handing you a $10 bill. And they say, I just believe God with you for that house. And hand you a $10 bill. Your faith is strengthened. But I'm telling you, it's just a matter of money. I'm dealing with the practical side of life here. You with me on that? Yes, sir. Yeah. Second story for you. I was involved towards the end of last year, I was involved in a business transaction. And wow, the business transaction seemed too good to be true, but my advisors who I was paying, and they said, nope, this is the real deal, go for it. I said, okay. So anyway, I even had an advisor say, no matter what, you're going to have to do X, Y, and Z, and it's going to cost you $11,000. That's what he said, to make this business transaction happen. And that was just one of my advisors who I was paying. He said, you are not going to get away with not paying this $11,000. So I said, okay. So anyway, a too good to be true opportunity presented itself. And 2 days before it was supposed to be finalized, I get sued. I get sued out of nowhere. Now, in my mind, frivolous lawsuit, okay, regarding this business transaction. I understand the other people's perspective, why they felt they needed to sue. Seems frivolous to me, though, on my side. But when I say money answers everything, I want to talk to you about the fact I've never been sued in my life. I've done everything possible not to get sued. Whenever there's a disagreement over something, business transaction, we try to work it out right then and there. So this time, I actually get when the person walks up, knocks on your door, and they hand me a summons. I've been served. They said, you've been served. Okay, that's a first. So first thing I do, call up a lawyer. Lawyer tells me, oh, I can help you out with that, Mr. Morgan. That'll be $3.50 an hour. I said, okay. But remember the topic, money answers everything. And I can only think to myself, if I could not afford a lawyer, what sort of position I would be in to have to defend myself. And I have no clue how to defend myself after I've been formally sued, you know. I mean, I go online and I can look it up in the court records that there's this lawsuit out there. Now, you don't have to do that, but I'm just telling you, okay? Unless you're really nosy, you can. But $5,000 goes by, and I wrote my second check for another $5,000. Now, this is just going to the lawyer. This isn't settling anything. This is just the lawyer working on my behalf. So I'm thinking to myself now, somebody told me I was going to have to spend $11,000 on something that I thought I wasn't. So I'm like, okay, we got another $1,000 to go here before I'm going to get upset. You know, because I would have been happy paying the $11,000 to do something that they said I was going to have to do. I just didn't think I was going to have to. The second check I wrote to the lawyer for $5,000, he said, Mr. Morgan, you know you don't have to write me a cashier's check. You can just write me a personal check. I said, you don't understand. It's not like I'm just going to my bank and getting a cashier's check to hand to you. I said, I'm dipping into the emergency funds at this point. Now, there's a lesson right there. You should have some sort of an emergency fund, depending on what your emergencies might be. I'm dipping into the emergency funds now. So I said, I'm going someplace that's not close to me and asking for a check for $5,000. I never expected to have to write these checks. I said, it would be great if I could just write you a personal check for $5,000, you know, whenever you ask me for it, but that's not the way it is. So I said, I just want you to know. So I said, let's wrap this thing up as soon as possible, please. At $3.50 an hour, I'm like, I don't want this dragging on. I'm not even trying to countersue or anything like that. I'm just trying to wrap up this business transaction. But I was talking to a friend the other night, and she asked me, you know, well, how are you doing? I said, I sleep fine at night. I said, the lawyer's the person with all the work to do. All I got to do is write a check. And that's really how I sleep at night, because I have some money to pay the lawyer to do all the work. Money does answer everything. It really does. And I'm not saying you're ever going to find yourself in a legal matter or in a something like that, but I'm just saying you should have some sort of an emergency fund for things that might go wrong in your own life. Are you with me on that?
Yes, sir.
It takes a while to save up that emergency fund too. It's not like I said, oh, one day let me just set some money aside as an emergency fund. No, that came over time. Just thinking about what some people call rainy days. You know, it was raining outside today. And that goes for somebody I heard on the radio. They said, are car repair people just trying to rip us off as consumers? And so the radio show host was a car repair person. He owns a couple car repair shops and things like that. And he said, you know, I don't think you're being ripped off based on what you've told me. This person's charging you for this different type of car work. He said, the only reason you feel like you're being ripped off is because you don't ordinarily need this car repaired. And now that you need it repaired, it just seems like a lot of money, and you're probably just not prepared to pay that bill right away. And I thought about that, and I said, yeah, that's true. I'm not really saying the person's ripping me off. I just don't want to write this check. Maybe I don't have the check to write. But if I set aside some money over a period of time, every month, you know, whenever I get a raise at work or whatever, instead of just buying new stuff, just start setting it aside and just saving up an emergency fund when the car needs repairing, when the plumbing stops working or the electrical goes out. Perhaps I can just pay it and not think about it anymore. I've seen people, their car breaks down, they don't have any money to get it repaired, they go to a payday loan place or a car title loan place, and car's fully paid for, just need it repaired. You guys with me on that? And you go to the car loan place, and all you have to do is give them the pink slip. They'll give you $3,000. And you get your car repaired. The only problem with the car title loan company place or the payday loan company place, the interest rate they charge is what? What do you think it is? Toss out some numbers. 30%? I wish it was 30%. 130%? I wish it was 130%. How much do they charge you in interest? I wish it was 200%. I've seen it at 500%. See, I'm not making this up. All I'm saying is that there's certain places you don't want to go for money. It's cheaper to take a cab, a taxi, if you will. But so we cannot let money rule us to the point that we just got to get some and we go get some and it costs us a lot. You know, I have a small retirement account. In my mind, once my if this legal matter doesn't get settled quickly and I have to take money out of that retirement account, that'll be some expensive money because I have to pay a penalty for early withdrawal and stuff like that, pay tax on it as well. But I know it beats the car title loan place. I just know it does. But I'm just saying, so I'm not looking at that retirement account as my emergency fund. That was dedicated to retirement. I have been setting aside money a little bit every month over a long period of time. You with me on that? That's how I got to the emergency fund. Third story. Last week, I come home from work Saturday afternoon. My family gets to the house before me, maybe, I don't know, an hour before me. But I get to the house and pressing the garage door button. And the garage door's not going up. So I look at my phone. I get a text message from my family inside. They said, half the power is out on the house. This was last Saturday, okay? I said, oh, what's going on with that? So anyway, I just park the car out front and go inside. Sure enough, half the power's out. Saturday afternoon. So when I say half the power's out, some light switches are working, some outlets are working, but not everything's wrong, you know, just half the house is out. Sporadically too. No rhyme or reason behind why. So I say to my wife later on that day, that evening, because I had gone out and gotten some ice and put it in an ice chest, took some things out the refrigerator, put it on ice, that kind of stuff. And I said to her, I said, well, the good news is, we are not having a Super Bowl party this year. Because last year, we had a Super Bowl party. Now, this is Saturday afternoon. I know that I could probably get an electrician out there, and all it is a matter of money. You pay an electrician enough money, they'll come out. But I said to myself, you know what? No need. So we spent the night at the house, and I told my wife, I said, okay, well, I've got some work to do. It requires the internet. And instead of going to school, where I have a school with an office and I have internet there, instead of going there and just doing some work, I said, let's just go stay at a hotel. That way we'll know the TV's working. You can sit there and watch Super Bowl commercials, stuff like that. I said, but let's just be comfortable on Sunday. Because that's what I had planned to make well, my wife had planned to make me some brownies on Sunday and everything, and I was just planning on being comfortable on Sunday. So we went to a hotel. Now, I didn't give the hotel a second thought. All it is just money. Just money. It was a nice hotel too. I probably spent $100. That included dinner. But it was a real nice hotel. Yeah. So I'm just saying, I didn't give it a second thought because I had some money. Money does answer everything. And that's a small story. It'll be when, I've got somebody hooked up on some electrical equipment that they need to save their lives, and they're in the house and the power goes all out. No, it was only half the power in the house. In fact, I text messaged an electrician Sunday night, and I said, hey, Steve, because that's his name, Steve. I said, hey, Steve, can you come out Monday, take a look? Half the power in the house is out. And, Steve replied back later that evening, and he said, yeah, I'll be by 10 a.m. Great. Steve comes out, and he says, I can't fix this. You need to call Edison, the electric company. They'll come fix it, and they probably won't charge you at all. Now, Steve was there for all of 10 minutes, and he looked at a couple things, plugged a couple things in, and he said, yeah, I can't fix this. You need Edison. So Steve said, no charge. I'm going to take off, go off to the next thing. And I said, well, Steve, I said, I really appreciate your time. And, because I do work for people that requires time. So I said, how much do you charge for these visits? And he said, well, I normally charge about $125. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'll just write him a check. And he said, how about 50? I said, okay. And I just gave him $50, and he was gone. Didn't do anything but tell me you need Edison. So anyway, and Edison came 2 hours later. Edison fixed the problem right away, which is just favor. That's just favor right there. I don't care how much money you got. When you call a big power company, they don't necessarily come out when you want them to. But the person on the phone said, we'll be there in 2 hours, Mr. Morgan. They were there in 2 hours. So that works. But again, it's just money. It is just money. A few years ago, and I'm just going to give you another story just because no one's asking questions, but the microphone's right here if you have them. I'll give you a quick one. A few years ago, my wife and I, we wanted to buy a house, and we did buy the house. But that year, before we bought the house, I knew I was going to have to replace 3 cars. My wife's car, my car, and my mother's car. And I knew that was going to occur. Just because we have cars that have a lot of miles on them, and you can tell it's about time. But because I had just been saving up money over time, no special investment or anything like that, just setting aside some money, knowing at some point I'm going to need some new cars. And I bought 3 used cars that same year that we also bought the house in. And all it was because we took the time to save up some money because we didn't know what was going to be going on. Okay? Talk to me. Your question.
I have a couple of questions, and I'll just sit down. First off, the personal checks. I stopped writing personal checks. I've noticed that they have now, it's like giving your credit card information to somebody and handing it to them. Writing it in a piece of paper and handing it to them. Because those numbers on the bottom of the check, somebody can actually go out and purchase something without your authorization and use those numbers just like somebody can use your credit card numbers and buy whatever. And you would be oblivious until the end of the month if you're not checking your accounts. But another question, to me,
so what's that question?
Would be that, would it be a good idea to continue to use personal checks? I don't think it is because of that reason. But another question I have is concerning the health care that you mentioned. I've noticed I'm going through a challenge with my mom. She's had that same challenge I've gotten out the nursing home recently. And I've learned through this experience that there is no long-term coverage for a person that has a very bad illness where you need long-term coverage. I wanted to know if you have any idea of what you would do with a person that needs like months to recover from some challenge. And it seems like the healthcare plan, they're waiting for you to get sick. If you have any kind of property, bank account, anything, they're saying, well, okay, you have these health plans, these plans will cover you for 90 days, 30 days, something like that, and then after that, we want your house, we want your bank account, we want your car, we want everything that you got for you to continue to get better. And if you refuse, you have to leave. We don't care if you die.
All right, so let me deal with those two.
That I've
Yeah.
been facing.
Yeah, I hear you.
So
I hear
I'm gonna
you.
sit down.
It can get tough. It does get tough out there. So the first question regarding writing people personal checks, I agree with you wholeheartedly in terms of, I would be careful in terms of who I wrote a personal check to, just because of all the information that's a person could access through your bank accounts. I no longer write personal checks except to large corporations where I'm paying a bill that I can't do it any other way. Specifically because my bank account information is on the bottom of my personal check. Now, I don't know, in fact, if there's a concern that people ordinarily just write checks to individuals and pass them out freely. I wouldn't say that, but I would be careful about who you hand it a personal check to. For example, if you're about to pay off a collection agency, I would never hand them a personal check with my bank account information at the bottom. I would always get a money order or a cashier's check, all right? If I'm paying someone who I do not trust but I owe money to, again, I would give them a money order or a cashier's check. So I am very careful with who I give personal checks to. But you have to understand, we've been giving out personal checks to people for years and decades and centuries. Well, I don't know if centuries is the case, maybe 1 century. So I wouldn't want to cause any alarm or fear there, but I am careful who I give a personal check to these days. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, at one point was very famous for not signing autographs. So whenever he would pay his bills, people would not cash his check just to keep the check with his signature on it. And his signature is worth a whole lot of money if you got it. Now, that was, of course, I was told that story a good 20 some odd years ago. I don't know if it would hold up today. Your second question regarding taking care of a person, little to no money in a nursing home situation. If it's health care, that's one thing. Our healthcare industry, the way it's set up, it works for poor people. You can have unlimited health care if you're poor. Now, taking care of you at home or a nursing home facility, that is a little different. And from what I've seen and witnessed, if you are poor, meaning you do not have assets, it is better for you because you can find a facility that the state will pay for, but it's not going to be a place you want to put your mother. It's not a place you want to put somebody. I have seen the very best of places, nursing home care or assisted living care. I've seen the very best of it, meaning you needed a lot of money to stay there. And I'll tell you this, the family was okay with it. They liked it, as long as they had the money to pay the bill. The patient or the person in the care facility hates it no matter what, okay? They don't care. They don't want to be there. And I've also seen where it's a place that will drive you mad. No, I'm serious. You walk into the care facility, all you hear are moaning, screaming, whining, crying, but this is all you can afford because you don't have any money. But there is some level of care there, but it's nothing pretty. So for that, I would just say there is this balance. And if you liquidate the person's assets, the state will help pay for a facility for that person to be cared for in, but you're not going to like it. Even to this day, long-term care. I've got 2 mothers to deal with. I've been thinking about their long-term care. For one, I was able to get a long-term care policy. And I know after a while that long-term care insurance policy I bought for one mother will run out. and I have to deal with it from there. Where did I get I just went to an insurance company. The place I got it from was Northwestern Mutual. This was about, I don't know, 10 years ago. It changed over the years, though. It's more and more difficult to get the kind of long-term care you think you're going to need. It's terribly expensive. But for me, and this is my perspective, I'd rather pay $5,000 a year for a long-term care policy than $5,000 a month. And you know what? I hate writing that check. And I never want to use the benefit of it. In my mind, and I've talked to my mother about this, when I want her to go like a light bulb, just pop, gone. That's my preference. It's hers too. It's hers. Talk to me.
Hello, Mr. Morgan. Thank you for being here for us again.
Yes.
My question is about mortgage, mortgage payments.
Making
I
mortgage
recently-
payments.
Yes. I recently talked to my mortgage company about amortization, and they referred me to a site, bankrate.com, I believe it was. And I have to admit to you, I cannot make heads or tails of it, because I've read books that say that if you pay a certain amount a month on the principal, you can get it down. But that's not what I was seeing on this particular thing. They were saying between 5 and 7 years in some books and things. And I'm not seeing that at all. All I'm seeing is, maybe a little bit cutting it down, but I don't see what they're trying to say. It's all very confusing.
Okay. So your question is?
And so my question is, for one thing, do mortgage companies actually really do send you to reputable sites? Because I'm kind of,
okay.
Actually I have a couple of questions. One.
So let me deal with that one though.
Okay.
Okay. So it's not about your mortgage company sending you to a reputable site. But here's the facts of everything, okay? Paying off a mortgage early, which is, I believe, what you want to do.
Yes.
You want to pay off your mortgage early.
Yes.
It's just a matter of math. If you pay the principal down faster than you agreed to in the contract, you will pay off the mortgage faster. So when it comes to how much faster, how many months faster, it's based on, and again, it's just math. So if they sent you to bankrate.com, there are calculators there that will allow you to do the calculations. I mean, I don't know what kind of phone you have, maybe your phone will do the calculation too, but it's just a matter of knowing, based on your current interest rate and your current monthly mortgage payment, with every monthly mortgage payment, if you put an extra $1 towards the principal with every payment, you could calculate how much sooner you would pay off your mortgage. They're not trying to be shifty about it or anything like that. They just don't want to do the math for you. And it's not their responsibility to do the math for you. It really is a simple calculation when you use those calculators. I believe bankrate.com does have the calculators there. You could go to daveramsey.com. He's got some calculators there. Money Magazine has calculators there. These calculators are everywhere. They're just tools.
Okay.
They're just tools. And, if you've got a 30-year mortgage and you pay an extra $100 a month, whatever, based on the interest rate, you might shave off a few months. But you'd have to pay more to shave off more. And just so you're comfortable, I do that math almost once a month because that's on my mind too. I am not sticking around to pay a mortgage for 30 years. I'm sticking around to live in a home comfortably and not think about the mortgage, but that means I have to pay what I owe faster or in advance. So that's my word for you there. Talk to me.
I guess my reason for questioning this now is because my original mortgager, Wells Fargo, sold it to another servicer. And I'm seeing some discrepancies there, and so I'm not sure. For one thing, I never had a prepayment penalty, and all of a sudden, just last month, they sent something and they checked in the box that there would be you can't just change the terms on me like that. That's what I called him about.
Sure.
And supposedly, they said they're going to fix that. But now that makes me question, do I need to go back and see if they've even been doing this right? Like you say, I have to do the math myself, though, which is.
So what you need to do, I'm assuming, if you have been paying the mortgage as agreed every month,
Yes.
all you have to do is get your original paperwork, your original loan documents. You can put together an amortization schedule. If you can't do it yourself, somebody should be able to do that for you with the original documents. And you should be able to see exactly where you are in your payment schedule. The fact that they sold your loan to a different loan servicer, that's neither here nor there. If your original documents don't have a prepayment penalty, that's all you need. That's all that matters. Because at the end of the day, and that's an expression overused, but all you have to refer to is the contract that you signed. I've signed mortgages that did have a prepayment penalty. And every now and then, I actually pay attention at the fine print of the bill they send me every month, and the box is checked, prepayment penalty. I'm just saying, look at your original documents.
Okay.
You don't even have to present your original documents to anyone else. Just as long as you hold your original documents, if you pay off your mortgage early and they try to give you a penalty, all you have to do is say, hey, there's no prepayment penalty in my original documents, and it goes away. All right?
Okay, does paying that extra count as prepayment penalty also? When you're paying extra on your, on the principal? Do they count that, or they're talking about at the end of it?
It depends on what your original documents say.
Okay.
I've
It doesn't say that.
I've signed mortgage documents that have a prepayment penalty that says if I prepay more than a certain amount before a certain date, then the penalty kicks in. Other times the prepayment penalty disappears after 5 years, and it just depends on what you agreed
It's
to.
worded. Okay.
What did you agree to? Look at those original documents.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Morgan, I have a question, sort of piggybacking on your reply to her about
Yes.
how you can do your own math to find out how much you have to pay.
Yes.
Okay. My question is this.
What's the formula?
I'm thinking about you.
Okay.
Say I don't see well, I can't hear well, I don't do math well, and I need to hire somebody to do that for me. Would I hire a CPA? Would I hire an attorney to do the math for me and figure that out? And I realize they're representing me. How much, who would I get, and then how much it costs? Maybe I can make it simpler. I'm sure a CPA could do this, right?
Wait. Let me make sure I understand you correctly. You want somebody to do the math on, like, put together an amortization of your mortgage.
No.
Oh,
When you told her she could do the math.
Yes.
She could do it. Nobody would have to do it for her.
well, she implied that she could go online and do it.
Right. But what
Yeah.
I'm saying to you, I can't.
Right. So I just want to be
What
sure.
I'm saying to you is.
Who should you
if
hire to
I
do that?
Want to, now see, I would think about going to a CPA. I wouldn't go to an attorney, but that's just me, because I think they now charge $4.50 an hour. CPA, I think, charges around the same, maybe $400.
Yeah.
But my question is, if I needed somebody
Okay.
to, and I talk about the whole chart,
Right. Just
all I
to,
would want to know is if I paid, like you said, $100 more a month, how long would it take me? Now, I thought you said a couple of months, and I would think, like, if I have a 30-year mortgage, and I want to get it paid down to 20 years, what I would want to say to you is, how much would you charge me to figure out how much I'd have to pay a
So-
month to get this down to?
okay.
And I'm asking that because it all gets down to money.
Yeah.
Am I talking
Okay.
about paying $500 for this, $1,000, so much per hour, or what? First of all, does my question make sense?
Your question makes
Okay.
absolute sense. So I would tell you, you don't need a CPA to do it. You certainly don't need a lawyer to do it. What you need is a good friend to do it, or a good relative who could do it as well, okay? it's not brain surgery to do this. So if you had your documents with you, or you knew the details of your documents, like how much of your loan is left, what's your monthly payment, what's your interest rate. If you had that with you, I would just have you sit down in a chair and I would tell you in 2 minutes, okay? Because I would just pull out my phone and do the math right quick. So that's how simple it is. Now, practically speaking, you want to get this done, because I'm assuming you don't have all your documents with you today. You could come to the next financial workshop and I'll do it for you. Or whoever does your taxes might be willing to do it for you. Usually a person who does taxes can do that pretty quickly using their phone or a computer for you. And I bet if you've been is your tax person a long time person you've been with? At least 2 years?
Yes, just let me say.
Okay.
The reason I ask you that, it goes back a long time. I love it when you say math is simple.
Oh no, the math is not simple. The calculation is simple with a calculator.
Well, maybe I didn't hear correctly.
Yeah.
I thought I heard you say to her that it's a matter of simple math. Maybe I misunderstood.
And I probably misworded that. It's a matter of putting the data into a calculator is simple. The math part of it requires a little bit more. So you couldn't do this with pencil and paper without a lot of know-how. But because you have the calculator, the tool, as long as you tell me what's going on in your mortgage, I put it into the calculator. The calculator spits the number out, just like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but you can ask anybody, like your tax person, to do this for you. Or as I say, if you came to the next financial workshop, I'd be more than willing just to sit down and take 5 minutes and do it for you. Okay?
Okay, thank
All
you.
right. Yeah, the math isn't simple, but the calculator inputting is simple, and it just spits out the answer, which I like. There are people starting businesses. There are people starting businesses. It does require money to start a business. You with me on that? It doesn't require a lot of money all the time. Sometimes we have in our minds the businesses we want to start. When we're thinking, oh, I got to get this, I got to get that, and have all these things in place to start a business. And oh, now I need to go borrow some money. I need to find investors. Well, maybe. But I want to caution you into not making long-term commitments to a business idea you have that you really don't know you're sure about. For example, I was talking to a buddy of mine, and I do some financial work for him, but he wanted to lease a building for his business operations. And I said, why don't you just pay month to month? That way, if you aren't really sure about this, you can easily get out versus locking yourself into a 5-year lease. And so he said, I'm going to be paying more every month. I said, you will, but you have an easy way out until you're ready to make a commitment. I said, but you're not actually sure about that. I said, you got so many other things going on financially, you're not sure if you're even going to be moving. You know, because he has so much going on. So I said, you want a month-to-month lease. Yes, you're going to pay more each month, but don't sign a 5-year lease that you can't stick around for 5 years on. I don't know if he followed my advice, but I'll say this. He was the 5th person to ever ask me about leasing office space. The 4 that came before him, none of them took my advice. The 4 that came before him all wanted to get out of their lease because they had made this long-term commitment, tough to get out of it, and they're on the hook financially. So what am I saying? When you start your business, and I'm speaking to whoever's listening now, when you start your business, don't make long-term commitments until you're absolutely sure this is what you want to do. Let me give you an easy example we can all relate to. Let's say you want to start a photography business. A photography business. You want to be a wedding photographer, bar mitzvah photographer, whatever. You're going to go take pictures for people. The question is, when do you buy your camera? When do you buy your camera? The smart people tell me, oh, I got your number on this. You don't have to tell me. I'm not buying a camera until I get my first paying job. And I say, no, that's not when you buy your camera. He says, you want me to buy it earlier, just to practice with and stuff? I said, no, don't do that. I said, have you ever been a wedding photographer before? No. You ever taken pictures at a bar mitzvah? No. I said, you don't even know if you like this thing. This is just your idea to make some money. I said, why don't you rent your camera first? Just rent it. You ever thought, just rent it. Go do a couple weddings. Find out if you really want to do this. Don't make a long-term commitment by buying something that costs several $1,000s. I've seen photographers they just take out their phone and, hey, I'm a wedding photographer. I actually took photography classes, say in the past 10 years. I took photography classes. I bet I can use a Kodak FunCam and take better wedding pictures than most people that have never been a photographer before but bought some expensive cameras. It's not about the camera. I just don't want people making long-term commitments, because to buy a camera, to sell a camera you just bought, you're going to lose a lot of money. To sell a camera. A buddy of mine wanted to own his own ambulance service. I said, okay, great. All you need is a truck. No, all you need is a truck. He was like, I know where to buy. Those are just Fords, big Ford SUVs pretty much. I said, okay. I said, listen, let me help you. Now this is a real story, not just making this one up. I said, let's just go online and find a used ambulance. The cheapest one is the one you're going to get. And we're here in Southern California. I said, all you got to do, we looked online, there it was. All he had to do, $1,000. He just had to drive to Arizona and get this truck. A used ambulance. Yes, it needed some paint on the outside. Yes, it needed some refurbishing on the inside. But I wasn't about to let my buddy go and buy a brand new ambulance. Now he had been he was a paramedic. He'd been a paramedic for years. So he knew, he said, I know this. I said, now let me just help you get started the right way with one truck. You can always grow from there, just one truck. So anyway, he decided to go into the mortgage business and not. Long-term commitments is what I'm talking about. So money answers everything. I hope that I didn't offend anybody with the first story. You guys okay with the first story, or do you think less of me now? Okay. I just wanted to be transparent about it because I ran out of money. I could not support my buddy in the nursing home like the guy in the Bible did, the Good Samaritan in the Bible. I couldn't do it. Started off that way, but I have commitments that I have to my own family, and I'm telling you, it's just what I observed. Other people just stopped responding to the person, and their faith changed. I'm just the only one who can say, I know my faith changed. I know it did. So, how do you get your money? Start saving it a little bit at a time. I made it a point never to tell people where to go work because no one liked any ideas I ever gave them. So I'm not telling you where to go work. I'm saying when you do have money coming in, you do need to start saving up. Some of you need to start telling your children or grandchildren, you need to start setting aside money for the future. That's my point here. That's how money does answer things. You have to have it. You can't need it and then run out looking for it and somebody charging you a high interest rate to get it. Or worse yet, you cannot go out looking for it and do something stupid like try to steal it. And believe me, people are under that kind of pressure. We're talking about medical scenarios. I've seen people steal money from their job just to have life-saving surgery for their loved one. And they rationalize it. this job's been underpaying me for years. They don't need this. They got a lot of money. They're not going to miss this. I'm telling you, that's not the way to go. But yeah, money does answer everything. It gets you in trouble too. I heard people say, the more money you have, the better off you are. Nope. I've seen, everybody can relate to this story. Now, the people involved have already been convicted, so I'm not going to say allegedly or anything like that. Remember the story about the Menendez family? The Menendez brothers? All right, the more money you have, the better off you are. Okay, great. Their parents, these two brothers' parents, had a lot of money. And the brothers killed their parents, according to the legal system that we know. I think that money answers everything, but some people are greedy enough for it that they're willing to do a lot of bad things for it as well. You cannot be in a position that you feel you have to do something illegal, morally wrong, actually wrong, whatever. You have to look at money as a tool. It's just to help you do something. If you don't have it, forget it. So what if you can't get your car repaired? Take the bus. So what if you can't pay your light bill? Let them turn off the lights. I would tell you, be careful who you loan money to. You are not a bank. Don't loan money that you need. Okay, look at it from my perspective. And this will prove it out. Let's say you have $100, okay? Everybody here has $100. Your electricity bill is $100. You owe, and now that $100 electricity bill, that's over the past 3 months, so they're about to cut off your electricity now, okay? You owe your best friend $100. You have a loved one who's in jail and their bail is $100. It's your mother. Your mother's in jail. Her bail is $100. She just checked in, okay? Hasn't spent the night in jail yet. Her bail is $100. My question is, who do you pay? Electric bill? Who says repay the person you borrowed the money from? Notice no hands are up. When you loan people money, you are at the bottom of their repayment list. You're not the bank. You're not going to turn off their electricity. I've gotten to the point now, I love the fact that I'm married now. I have somebody who I have to check in with. So when somebody asks to borrow money, there's always a higher authority. I have to check with my wife. For some people, that's enough, forget about it, and they go away. But I know in my mind, if I need that money back, I can't afford to loan it out. Just because of the nature of how we act. So what I do now is when people ask me for money, I ask for something in return right away. They'll say, can I borrow $100? Okay, I'll need the car keys to your car and your car. When you give me back the money, you get your car back and the car keys. They usually leave at that point. Loaning people money, your family, man, when Thanksgiving comes over, everybody's over to the house, that turkey tastes different. When people owe you money, and you saw them drive up in a new car, and they owe you money. You aren't the bank. Money answers everything. They didn't say you, the Bible does not say you answer everything. Money's just a tool. It's okay to say no to people. Think about how many times people have said no to you. But you being a good Christian, a heart as big as Texas, and you don't say no. I'm dealing with the practicals. There's a time for the spiritual, and there's definitely a time for the practical. Say no to people. You want to be spiritual about it, say, I'll pray about it. I'm just saying, anyway. Anybody else have any questions? I'm going to wrap this up. Well, let me leave you with these final thoughts. To do proper financial planning in your own life, you need to know where you are right now. If you can make a list of where your money comes from, so you'll know how much is coming in the door. If you'll make a list of where your money goes, meaning what your monthly bills are, just make a list. If you don't know where your money's going, just every time you spend money for 1 month, just write it on a piece of paper. That way you'll know where your money's going. If you'll make a list of everything you own, that if you had to sell it, you could, what would you get for it? Just make a list. Make a list of everyone you owe money to, whether it's on your mortgage, your car, a personal friend, whatever, credit cards. Make a list of how much you owe. This is just figuring out where you are now. If you know exactly where you are now, you can come up with a game plan to move towards some future goal. If you want to buy a home, if you want to buy a new car, as long as you know exactly where you are now, you can come up with the right plan of moving forward. But if you don't know where you are right now, that's going to be tough to do. If you get a raise on your job, an increase or wherever, consider, instead of spending it, setting it aside for what we typically call a rainy day, what I'll call an emergency fund. When you need money to answer something, it's going to be there, but you have to do it over time. Okay? Unless you just come, a relative dies and you inherit some life insurance money. No, the inheritance part is wonderful. Okay? Unless that occurs, then you've got some money. Don't go spend all that. Set it aside. Figure out what your rainy days might be. They're not going to be like mine. I gave you one big story, or I gave you 2 big stories and 1 small story. I'm hoping you have small stories where only half the electricity goes out in your house. I'm hoping that you never have to pay a lawyer $3.50 an hour to defend yourself in a lawsuit. I'm hoping your loved ones never need your money to live in a nursing or care facility. But I do know that every now and then you're going to have some plumbing repaired. You're going to need to have the car done. Set aside now. Set it aside now. That way when it comes, hey, it's just a check. Just a check you write. Praise the Lord. I wish I had a joke to end on, but I don't. Thank you for those laughs. All right. We have a little bit of extra food left in the back. If you'd like to enjoy some of that, you can. Our next financial workshop will be when? No. Our next financial workshop is, hold on, I'm looking right quick. They just confirmed it. I do these once a quarter, 1 month in the quarter, so it's not every few months, but let me just see. Did you guys get something out of today's workshop? Okay, good. Now don't go telling everybody my business. Okay. All right.